Hello everybody, I'm Grant Fluff from Fluster Sports Zone, and welcome to the Jacksonville Jaguars 2024 offseason recap, if you will. Of course, I'm filming this on Friday. Free agency just started on Monday. We have a lot of new faces and a lot of old faces out the door. We're going to be recapping everything that has happened in free agency revolving the Jaguars so far, and then maybe I'll give some predictions what holes we might be able to fill in the draft and whatnot, and other free agent targets I might be interested in. Without further ado, let's get into it. So first things first, I feel like we should go over the players that have left Jacksonville. So heading into offseason cuts, Jacksonville made two pretty huge moves in the secondary. Free safety Rashawn Jenkins and cornerback Darius Williams at the door. What they needed to do was save money, and they've done a pretty decent job in replacing those two. So Jenkins has now signed a one-year deal with the Seahawks, and Darius Williams, I mean, this was pretty expected. He returns to the Rams on a 3-year contract. I'm not going to lie, at first I was pretty upset getting rid of Darius Williams. He had 4 interceptions, which was tied with Andre Sisco for the lead, or for the team lead last year. And overall, he was just very, very solid, especially when Tyson Campbell went I don't know what the heck the second half of the season was for Tyson Campbell. Hopefully he'll come back, because I still think he is the corner one. But cutting Darius Williams, that was rough. That was rough after the season he had. But the Jaguars saved over $10 million, and let me tell you something, that would eventually be used into good use. Of course, Calvin Ridley signed with the Tennessee Titans. Boo. You're a traitor, Calvin. I don't know what else to tell you. I know we maybe didn't offer you $90 million like the Titans did, but you openly signed with the division rival. And I just want to make it clear, when you come back to the bank next year, I want all of Duval County to boo you out of the stadium. I get it, NFL's a business, and I still respect Calvin Ridley as a player, but you essentially just signed with a division rival when you didn't have to. I'm glad he didn't go to Kansas City, but there's a heck of a lot of better options. He could have went to Tennessee. You signed with a division rival. You're a traitor. And at the moment, you are on pretty much all of Duval's, we don't appreciate you right now. I'm thankful for the 1,000-yard season we had you, but I'm not a fan of you right now. You're breaking my heart signing with the division rival, man. It's ridiculous. All right, now on to the players that we have acquired, and it started off very strange. First things first, we traded our 6th-round pick this year to the Patriots for Mac Jones. You guys are doing CJ Beathard dirty. I, of course, live in Massachusetts, so I've seen quite a bit of Mac Jones. He was really solid his rookie year. He was kind of not great his second year, and I mean, oh my God. This year, it was so obvious that Bailey Zappi was the better quarterback of the two in New England. And Beathard, you're kind of doing him dirty a little bit. I'm not going to lie. He won his only start. Granted, it was against the worst team in the league in the Panthers, but he won his only start he needed to. He played really well against Cincinnati when Trevor rolled his ankle, and he played well in the Tampa Bay game when Doug Peterson benched Trevor Lawrence when he injured his shoulder. Beathard did fine to continue being the backup. He had one more year left on his contract anyway. So does Mac. I guess the Jaguars, they were the only team to put in a trade offer for him. Mac Jones returning to Jacksonville, his hometown state. But, I mean, he seems pretty happy he's there. And I think the social media admin, Mac's already turning into one of his favorite players. But, I haven't seen nothing the last couple of days on my feed. But Mac Jones, he's our backup. If Trevor goes down, CJ's probably better for a long-term solution. I guess if we want to go long-term, Mac probably is the better quarterback. It's just his pocket presence is so bad, and I'm so worried. But I do think he will do fine under the new coaching staff. And again, as long as he's a backup, I mean, we'll get to see how he plays in the preseason first and everything. Maybe it's like a Teddy Bridgewater on the New York Jets situation where after a strong preseason, we trade him elsewhere and get a 6th-round pick back. I don't know. But Mac Jones, welcome. The trade was really random, but you know what? If you want to contribute, be a leader in the locker room and, you know, be a solid backup if Trevor ever goes down, welcome aboard, I guess. But yeah, I mean, we probably should have just saved the 6th-round pick in hindsight. I wanted to draft Sam Hartman. That's a different story for a different day. All right, enough rambling on about Mac Jones. We have some actual business to attend to. First and foremost, the biggest splash that the Jaguars made on Monday when free agency opened was signing Bills wide receiver Gabe Davis to a 3-year, $50 million contract. I love this move. He replaces Calvin Ridley as our deep threat guy. Love it. Christian Kirk's returning from injury. He's going to be the short route option guy. Evan Ingram's still going to be the security blanket. And I love the wide receiver 3 competition that will be either Zay Jones or Parker Washington. I know a lot of the fan base wants to draft a receiver in the 1st round, and though I'm not against it, we could work on other holes and maybe get a receiver in the 3rd or 4th round. Apparently, this draft is very loaded with receiving depth. And I mean, look, we found Parker Washington in the 6th round last year, so I'm okay with using the, 17th overall pick on another option, or we trade up and get someone like Romeo Odunze or Malik Neighbors, but that's not going to happen. Plain and simple, that's not going to happen. Just ride it out with the pick you have and go with that. I don't know. We could get a corner. We could get a corner replacing Darius Williams. We could bolster the D-line some more. We could bolster even the linebacking core a little bit. I'd be fine with. There's no need to go out and draft a receiver. Gabe Davis is fine. I expect at least 800 to 1,000 yards and, you know, quite a few touchdowns next season. Again, Davis will be the wide receiver too as long as Christian Kirk is healthy, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I even said when Calvin Ridley got reinstated last year, that Christian Kirk, until proven otherwise, is the wide receiver 1 on this team. And that's the way I was going to be. Plain and simple. He's Trevor's favorite target when he's healthy. Kirk's going to be back, and I'm excited to see him playing. I'm excited to see what Gabe Davis can do as well. It's a risk because he's been a wide receiver 2 behind Stephon Diggs his whole career. But, you know, he went to UCF, Florida kid. I'm willing to give it a shot. I think Gabe Davis is going to be all right. Our next signing comes from the Buffalo Bills as well. We picked up center Mitch Morris, 2-year, $10 million deal. Love it. This offensive line is complete. Robinson and Harrison as the 2 tackles, and Morris down the middle with Brandon Sheriff for structuring his contract, probably to bring in Morris. Our offensive line is pretty much complete. Don't be surprised if we trade Walker Little sometime this offseason as well. I think he could be a starter on a weaker offensive line. Yeah, but Mitch Morris, really our weakest link on the offensive line was a center, and now we got that. Sorry, Luke Foyner, you gotta go. All right, well, we've already mentioned that we've gotten rid of Williams, we've gotten rid of Jenkins, and the Jaguars have done a good job in at least replacing Rashawn Jenkins for now. I really like Antonio Johnson a lot. I really think he probably should be the starting safety if I'm being honest, but I have no complaints with Darnell Savage either. 3-year deal worth just over $21 million. I am 100% okay with this too. Kind of have like a 3-safety rotation, I guess, with Johnson and Cisco, but I'm pretty excited to see what Darnell Savage can do. I think, you know, he's very solid for Green Bay. He's a very good zone safety, if I'm not mistaken. Had a pick 6 against the Cowboys in the wild card game this year, and overall, he's had my eye since he was a rookie back in 2019. He has been one of the very solid players for the Packers secondary. Of course, like Jari Alexander and whatnot. You know, I wouldn't expect like a Pro Bowl or anything out of Savage. But, you know, if he gets his pass breakups, maybe a couple of picks a year, he did his job. Again, it's just kind of confusing because I thought Johnson was ready to go and be the starter next to Cisco. But, hey, I'm not complaining. I'm really not. I'm happy with this. The Jaguars weren't done with their secondary moves just yet. Again, I really liked the Darnell Savage signing. And I really don't like the Ronald Darby signing. Now, granted, Ronald Darby will probably be our corner 3 or 4. This is where I say, personally, I'm fine with rocking it out with Zay Jones and Parker Washington as our receivers 3 and 4. And we just go with it and draft a corner. Cooper DeJean could be available. Kool-Aid McKinney could be available. There's a couple of corners, especially in the first couple of rounds, that really catch my eye. Ronald Darby's, again, he's solid, but he's injury prone. I don't think he's a great corner 2 at all. And if Tyson Campbell continues this fall off from grace, we're going to need to move on from him soon as well. So just do the right thing, draft a corner. In terms of Ronald Darby, again, if he gets a pick or 2 and a couple of tackles, as long as he is not hurting the team, I'm fine with the signing. But the biggest signing that the Jaguars have made so far, outside of Gabe Davis, is the news that just broke yesterday. Funny enough, I was going to film this yesterday. I waited an extra day, and I'm so glad I did. From the San Francisco 49ers, Eric Armstead, welcome! A 3-year, $51 million contract. Now, you're telling me the Jaguars could re-sign Calvin Ridley for $90 million, or they could acquire Gabe Davis and Eric Armstead. I'm taking Davis and Armstead any day of the week. Got them both locked up for the next 3 years. Armstead, I'm super pumped. He is such a great defensive lineman. You know, we franchise tagged Josh Allen. Fantastic. Trayvon Walker, after a rough rookie season, finally blossomed into his own the second half of last year, which was great to see. And now we bring in Eric Armstead to the D-line. Our D tackles him and Devon Hamilton. Yes! Yes! Finally! We are not taking the defensive tackle position as a joke! I'm sorry, Dewan Smoot and Adam Gotsis, bye! We just got our brand new pass rusher to pair with Allen and Walker in our fast linebacking core. I love this. I love this signing 100%. And again, I really liked Calvin Ridley last year, but if that meant we got Gabe Davis and Eric Armstead out of it, I mean, I'm doing what I can. Armstead's amazing. 2015 draft pick. He hasn't made a Pro Bowl, surprisingly enough, but he's still very solid. Just had a sack in the Super Bowl this past year. So, I'm really happy with this. And again, I mean, Devon Hamilton's very good, but we needed more help on the defensive line side of things, and definitely acquiring Eric Armstead is going to be an immediate impact. I'm probably most excited to see what Armstead can do with the team, if I'm being honest. This has been my favorite signing so far. And it came out of nowhere, too. I really thought Davis and Savage were going to be our only 2 big splashes, but we're continuing it on with Eric Armstead, and no complaints from me. All right, real quick, we could touch up on special teams. Brandon McManus has signed with the Commanders. So it looks like Riley Patterson will be returning to the Jaguars. We signed him on a futures contract back in January, and I'm happy Riley Patterson's back. It looked like for a second there we were going to get Will Lutz, but he changed his mind. He is re-signing with the Broncos. Hey, I'm fine with riding it out with Riley Patterson again. He was a really reliant kicker in 2022. As long as he continues to improve on his power, his accuracy is perfect. His power is my one concern. Can he hit from long range? I guess this year will put him up to the task. I'm not going to lie, anything over like 52, 53 yards, I was very scared whenever Brandon McManus stepped on the field. So I'm fine with having Patterson back. I really am. The Jaguars also signed wide receiver Devin Duvernay. He, of course, played on the Ravens. He will be our special teams guy. What does this mean for Jamal Agnew? Hopefully he's cut. I shouldn't say hopefully he's cut, because I love Jamal Agnew, but he's making so much money just to be a wide receiver 4 and a return man. No, plus Parker Washington showed the last month of the year that he's a better receiver than Agnew. I'm not going to lie, outside that 75-yard touchdown he had against the Ravens, I forgot Agnew was on our roster. That's because he was hurt, and he's banged up, and we need speed in the return game. Devin Duvernay brings that, an $8 million deal over 2 years. I mean, Devin Duvernay as a receiver, Agnew's technically better, but again, we're getting Duvernay as a return man, guys. He's going to be getting probably no more than 10 to 20 receptions this season. Again, I don't know, we're probably going to draft a receiver or two. And we already have Zay Jones and Parker Washington. I mean, I'm fine with this. I really am fine with this. Devin Duvernay is awesome. Jamal Agnew, restructure your contract and stay. I'm happy. If you don't, thank you for your service. It has been awesome. But again, I do like Agnew, but he's just eating up so much money. You gotta make the tough choice and either tell him, hey, restructure your deal, or cut him. If he could just restructure his deal, then there was no reason to get Devin Duvernay, but whatever. Overall, special teams, Riley Patterson back as our kicker, and Devin Duvernay will probably be our primary return man. No complaints from me. Also, one small transaction that you might have missed, and honestly, even I forgot about this while recording this video. The Jaguars are bringing back their third-string running back, D'Ernest Johnson, on a 1-year deal. Listen, he was better than Tank Bigsby for the first 2 months of the year, and then the last month Bigsby finally realized, maybe I shouldn't be eating Butterfingers before every game. So once Bigsby's fumbling habits stopped, he's been the running back 2. He's going to be the running back 2 next year. I have zero complaints. The guy's only entering into his second season. I think we were all getting a little too frustrated with Bigsby right out of the gate. Calm it down. Give him another year under ETN. D'Ernest Johnson, welcome back. He's better than Snoop Conner, I'll give him that. So, D'Ernest Johnson's back, 1-year deal, cool. I expect him to get no more than 30 carries next year, but he's also a good receiving back, so nothing to get mad about there. Alright, last thing to talk about. What are the Jaguars' plans heading into week 2 of free agency and the draft? Like I said, if we're going to make signings, they're going to be a lot of small ones. We're probably going to bolster our offensive line. We're probably going to bolster, maybe get a backup tight end. I'm not sure. But realistically, we're going to head over to the draft. And again, I'd say you go corner in the first round. I was going to say go defensive line, but now that you've signed Armstead, I don't even think you need to. I mean, obviously, getting another edge rusher, it wouldn't hurt, But I think if you get the corner, you need to pair up with Tyson Campbell long term. I got nothing against it. I really don't. I mean, I would also say, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm happy Riley Patterson's back. I wish we used said 6th-round pick we traded for Mac Jones on maybe some kicking competition. So I'm not going to lie. I know Riley Patterson had a good year last year with the Lions and the Browns, but I'm not, he was good in 2022, and I'm happy to give him another shot. But again, if there is a great kicker available in the 6th or 7th round and you really want to acquire him and give Riley Patterson that competition, you give him that competition. I think Patterson will be fine, but I just don't want to, miss an opportunity. If we draft the kicker and decide to roll with Riley Patterson, that's cool. Trade the kicker after the preseason. Do whatever. I don't know. I'm trying to think, what else could we do? I'm going to be honest, like I said, maybe target a backup tight end. Although, our tight end room isn't horrible. I mean, obviously, Evan Ingram has been fantastic, made the Pro Bowl. And you know what? I got to give credit where credit's due to Luke Farrell. I thought that guy sucked his first 2 years. Luke Farrell really showed last season that, he was dangling off a cliff a little bit. I didn't even think he was making it out of the preseason last year, but you remember Jeff Cotton? I thought he was a better tight end than him at one point. Anyways, Farrell played very well. He was catching every ball that came his way towards the end of the season, and if Ingram was covered or if Ingram needed to have a rest, Luke Farrell did his job. So again, I would probably focus on, I guess, D-line and corner in the draft. It's definitely the defense that concerns me more than the offense, especially with getting the defensive coordinator who was just with the Falcons. He is now, of course, on the Jaguars. Unfortunately, Press Taylor's here, but that's probably the only thing that can't stop this offense. If it's healthy and if we target everything in the draft, my way too early Jaguars prediction is 10-7 losing the wild card round, which isn't a great thing. It's not a bad thing. But, you know, Houston most likely will be winning the division. But there's no excuse Jacksonville can't squeeze into that 9-10 win plateau and make a wild card spot. That means, of course, with a wild card team, that's an automatic road game. Probably going to lose said road game. We got to set the expectations, you know, what they are. I'm going to be honest. Right at the moment, I think we have slightly improved. I think we are a 10-win team at best. Maybe 11 wins is our ceiling. And I think our floor is about 8 wins. I think if we get anywhere in the 8 to 11 win range, you know, I know that's a pretty large sum, but that's probably where this team is right now. Again, I'm not too thrilled with the coaching staff, or, well, Press Taylor in particular. I think the new defensive coordinator is going to be fine. I think Doug Peterson's going to be fine. I'm just saying it how it is. Our offensive coordinator is still a weakness. And until we figure out these small holes in the draft, again, it's nothing huge, but these small holes in the draft, we're, you know, I don't know how far we're going to go yet. So we'll see how the draft goes, and obviously I'll be doing probably a whole Jaguars season predictions video sometime in the summer. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. Let me know what you guys think about the Jaguars and their transactions so far this offseason. Right now, I give the offseason, I'll give it a B+. I was going to give it a B-, but definitely acquiring Armstead put it up in the B+ range. It would have been tremendous if we could have re-signed Calvin Ridley. To my knowledge, I think we were trying to sign him to like a deal worth probably $60 million. He didn't want that, so we just said screw it and signed Gabe Davis for a little less. You know, and I'm fine with saving money and making room for other players if that means we're only getting like 50 to 100 yards off of total yard production. I'm fine with that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button. Let me know what you guys think about the Jaguars offseason so far, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.